apartment complex. We've met with Joe Davis, who's up here at the front row, our DPW, for the installation. It looks like we're going to be able to add approximately 80 to 100 parking spaces around the complex by striping the outer perimeter where folks currently park, and then taking building 5308. And then building 5308, there are unused parking spaces around there that we're going to make sure those get used. So it gives us more parking spaces around the building. That's the initial first step, or a short-term target, to try to get after something. It really doesn't address lighting issues that we have in the wintertime, and it doesn't address some of the safety issues that we've got. But hopefully it will alleviate some of the challenges that we've got. And we'll continue to work with Joe and others to look at potentially building additional parking space, but that costs additional money, quite a bit of money. We've got to make sure that we've really got an issue and we're using all the available space before we go and build additional areas. So I'll throw that back out to you. Sir, here's a quick question. How many positions will the command consider for VSIP for this FY and next year? The answer I've got is there are 272 manpower reductions, so we will consider up to that many VSIP for this FY. We do not currently have plans to offer VSIP for next FY. Correct, Karen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question off of Twitter. Maybe somebody turned the BlackBerry on. If there is VSIP, how and who will determine the criteria of who gets the VSIP, especially if the person is already planning on retirement in December 2011?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll take that. Are you ready? Listen, the VSIP, the whole purpose of that is for positions that we are going to do away with first. Okay? And then those that are, the guidance is that this idea of we're going to try and figure out how we restructure so that we can get someone a VSIP is not going to happen. Okay? Unless there is something that we have to do in order to get a position terminated without losing another individual that's in a position that we feel has the expertise that we need. We do not want to rip anyone or tell anybody to go home if they don't want to go. That's really kind of where we're at. And so for those that are retiring, and are retirement eligible, and that's what you want to do, then, thank you very much for your service, and you need to retire. Your VSIP is not an entitlement. I'll tell you, I'll get myself in trouble. Where's your credit out here? I had someone come up to me once at another command and said, "Are you going to have a VSIP this year?" And I said, "Why, no, I'm not." I said, "I don't need to, the structure's right." And he said, "Well, I'm 78 years old and I'd really like to retire." And I said, "Man, it's time for you to retire." That's no disrespect, but if she wants to retire, she can retire. And, but she thought that she absolutely deserved a VSIP. And it's not a deserving or undeserving, it really isn't. The whole purpose of that is to so that we don't lose people that we don't want to lose. And you have to do that.
Question on the floor. Anybody? How's it going? You want to do?
Okay.
Okay, okay.
In regards to parking, will there be consideration for motorcycle parking? If not, I have a suggestion.
Okay. I'll tell you what, if you could give us the suggestion after this, I'll take it because, let me just be very clear. We're starting to turn around. I hate motorcycles, by the way. I lost a few friends and I've, crashed a few more soldiers than I can care to count. But that being said, did I say it right? I'm okay. We probably do need to find some place where we can accommodate motorcycle parking. But, just be careful. It's dangerous out there. It's not you. It's usually the person that's driving the car that's not doesn't see you or doesn't pay enough attention.
All right, we're going to call it. Will there be a RIF if AMCOM does not reach its allocated cuts via VSIP?
We are not planning on doing a RIF. Will there be one? I don't know. I hope not. How's that? We have told AMC that if we cannot do it by Bureau Reserve, then they tell us that they got to cut numbers. And we will come back to them at a later time once we do our complete analysis and tell them if we need to do a RIF. It is possible that we may have to do a RIF, but highly, highly unlikely. I guess that's the best way to say it. That is not my goal. Now, I got to tell you, in the parking, I failed in the parking, as you noticed from the answer there. We still have work to do on parking, and so that's my mission to you. We need to be farther along than that. And so, Joe, we need to work together to try and figure out something. Okay.
So, I got a question on efficiency. Rumors are that organizations located at the same installation may combine similar functions regardless of command. For example, AMCOM, AMC, MRDEC, etc., all perform common functions, legal, public affairs, etc., that could be combined across commands. Is this likely? And what AMCOM functions would you expect to be combined?
Yes, it's already happened. I was in charge of the task force Aberdeen that was asked to look at. There were 3 two-star commands coming into Aberdeen. One was already there, 2 more. And they said, what have you guys done to gain efficiencies? And the answer is that no one asked them to, so they were just coming in full up. And now, to ATEC's credit, they are doing a reorganization. CCOM and RDCOM were not, and we're working toward that. And what came out of Task Force Aberdeen was a set of rules that we had placed. A lot of these things were already articulated in Decision Point 91 of the Army, which basically said the senior mission commander will have these responsibilities, and then they will delegate or push out those requirements to other folks on a command. We're doing the same thing with Task Force Redstone. Let me give you some of the big ones that are occurring. They combine the 2 contracting centers up at Aberdeen. We are combining the 2 acquisition centers here. It's the ACC Redstone and SMDC. Ms. Dickens has 2 hats right now. She's in charge of both. In a trial that we had to do this, we have found it works. Both myself and Lieutenant General Formica have agreed, and we're merging the 2. So Ms. Dickens will basically have 2 bosses to do the contracting piece, and we think that will work fine. As a matter of fact, we think it will work better because those 2 contracting centers merging with the limited number of contracting people we have will help us to workload in different ways across the command. Now, let me tell you about another thing. Some of the stuff that we did for Aberdeen is stuff that we're already doing here. I mean, our legal, with Mr. Allen, is already doing the legal for most of the folks here, with PEOs and everything else. So is our protocol, so is our PAO. So, I mean, we're doing that already. We're looking to see where else we can do that, okay? And so that is happening. We're working that, and those efficiencies are going to get rolled into the efficiencies that we're taking. That's our goal. That make sense?
Your next question concerns deployments. Does the command support civilian deployments because certain supervisors do not support this decision?
Yeah. Let me give it to you. This is what I tell my folks. I am all about making sure that on voluntary deployments you get an opportunity to deploy if you want to. Okay? LARs don't have that luxury. Some of them have deployed 6 or 7 times. All right? After your first deployment and your extension over there, because if you're pretty good, they're going to ask you to stay. That's logical. That's what I did when I was over there for the 2 years. You really need to go back and start getting back into your career field, is my suggestion. At least get back and come back for another year, and then if you want to go back over, then maybe that's an option. It is on a case-by-case basis. There are some that we let extend even more. But others, where the supervisor comes in, this person's been away from whatever for a certain amount of time and really needs to get back into their work to continue to progress. Then we bring the individual in and talk to them and say, do you really want to go back over there and do whatever? Or, because what you do is when you leave a hole in your slot. Now, they slide over people and do all kinds of interesting things, which is good. I want volunteer to deploy. Back to back to back, though, is basically you leave a hole forever. And that doesn't help the organization at all. Okay? So that's what, the back to back to back is what we always talk about with supervisors. And on a case-by-case basis, we let that go. And on others, I mean, we basically tell them, you know, this has a potential, because you're not working in your field anymore for these number of months or years, that it has potential for your career. You understand that, and it's in writing. You know, and they still want to go. And I say about 7 times out of 10, I let them go. Back over. Okay, so that's a hard one. First time, that's not a problem. And supervisors, just hear me out here. You gain so much by having someone deploy and seeing what's over there. You don't appreciate it till you've been over there. And that's, I mean, the reason we send all these new congressional guys over there into Afghanistan is to make them believers. Because there's no gold plating there. It's rough living, it's not fun, and you want to get in there, get your job done, and go home. All right? That experience will pay you well in your civilian career. It really does. Multiple times over there, I would argue, does not. Okay?
Karen, how many names were submitted for verification? Do you know?
328.
328?
Yes, sir, under the interest.
Okay. A reminder, this was an interested sensing session only. There is the window to be applied for those that are interested in doing this. Okay. Don't confuse the two. Again, reminder for Thursday, back here at Bob Jones.
Is there a question? Of those 328, how many of those folks do you think will not be allowed that visa based on your previous comment about retirement eligible?
A lot of them.
So just to follow up with that, sir, it seems intuitively, and unless I'm wrong, it seems intuitively we should let those folks that are currently eligible retire.
Yeah, I'm sorry, wait,
Let's get a mic.
let's get a mic to you.
Right, Ellen.
Thank you. Should those folks that are currently eligible be allowed that visa so that we're not keeping people that are sitting on the fence waiting on a visa? We're not going to push them into the next year and they say, well, I'm going to retire because I'm not going to get the visa. And then we go into a RIF where we have to let people go that aren't ready to retire. I mean, in terms of second order effects and possibly third order effects, I just wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. I mean, we've had those discussions and those concerns. The issue is that if it's not the right position that we're doing away with, then we would, if you don't want to retire, you want to continue to provide service to the government and the country, we love it. You're the experience level, or just across the board. You're the experience level that are training the young folks that are coming in to be the next you. And so I'm okay with that. We do have to be careful, and we will, trust me. We've had that discussion. We all got to be very, very careful that we're not doing this the purpose of let's give this guy a visa and this guy not one, because we got to have a reason. It's got to be going away, and that's it. And so there will be some discussions on that, I am sure. Nothing is black and white, and we'll work through those, every single one, as we can. Because that's the best way to see it.
Cool.
But I don't know right now, but I'm sure we'll see it.
Other questions? So we got a training question. I have a formal training scheduled for this FY that was canceled due to funding shortages. What is the prognosis for FY 12? I think we kind of touched on that earlier. The decrement was eventually restored. During the time of the decrement, the command was faced with executing only essential programmatic items. FY 12 formal budget has not been released. At this time, we do not know what decrements will occur in the year of execution. Until we are officially notified the decrements will occur, we will proceed as planned for FY 12.
Okay, but what I'd like to do is those classes that were canceled that we are aware of, we know those people, let's see if we can't get them in that FY 11 to catch up. Because, I mean, we have the opportunity. That's during the tornadoes, I got to spend a lot of time in the AOC, only because they were the only place that had electricity and they had coffee. You know, if you look across from the people across this community that gave, I just want to thank you all. I see that we have Colonel Johnson here. I mean, they opened the clinic up almost immediately, and people were coming in even though their houses were either gone or were destroyed or were they had no power. And maybe that's why I don't know. You know, like me and him. But they did come in and they helped see people almost immediately. I appreciate that. And the other one I want to just kind of point out that we didn't recognize is Glenn Kircher is our chaplain for AMCOM. And you don't know the kudos I got back from people that he went out and asked and made sure that they were all doing okay. Every one of them that lost a home. And all those that he had heard about that maybe needed just someone to talk to. And so I appreciate that. It does make a difference. And you know, you don't give too many kudos to the chaplain but it's not a bad thing. We had the new chief of chaplains coming in our class this week. Fortunately, he didn't turn it down. And one thing you always learn is you never make the chaplain mad because the consequences are very bad. But I appreciate all you all do every single day. And we do got work to do, and we're going to continue to do that. But you've got to believe that the leadership that we have in AMCOM is one that I've never seen in my career, is wanting to make sure that we take care of the workforce and get the mission done. And we're going to continue to do that. And so if you ever have a doubt in that, you need to zing us. You know, we've got the online where you can ask a question and we'll get an answer back to you. Or if that doesn't work, send me an email. They love it when you guys say. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being here. I appreciate it.